Buenos días, queridos alumnos de Cela Spanish School Online. In our class today, we are going to explain the pronouns and reflexive verbs in Spanish. This lesson is aimed at A1 and A2 level students. The subject of reflexive verbs is one of those topics that at first glance seems simple, but is somewhat complicated because reflexive verbs do not always coincide in different languages. But let's see how it works in Spanish. In a sentence with a common verb like this, lavo una manzana, we have a subject. Yo lavo. The information about who the subject is already included in the verb conjugation. Since the verb is in the present tense and ends in o, the subject is yo. That is why in Spanish we do not usually use the personal pronoun again when it is a verb form that corresponds to a single pronoun. As in the case of lavo, the only option is yo. Since this is not possible in English, nor in many other languages, some students tend to use yo constantly. This sounds very strange in Spanish and is redundant. We don't say yo vivo, yo trabajo, yo como, but vivo, trabajo, como. We only use the pronoun if we want to emphasize the subject. This happens with all verb forms that have only one pronoun, such as yo, tú, nosotros, and vosotros. In the case of the third persons, él, ella, usted, ellos, ellas, and ustedes, we must indicate the pronoun or the subject of the sentence since there are several possibilities for the same verb form. Lava can be él, Juan, ella, usted, etc. In the sentence lavo una manzana, my action is directed to an object. Yo lavo algo. I wash something. Algo is una manzana. When I wash myself, I use the reflexive pronoun. In this case, the verb would be lavarse. And for the first person, it is me lavo. In lavo la ropa, the action of washing is directed to the laundry. La ropa is used mostly in the singular in Spanish. We do not say lavo las ropas, but lavo la ropa. Que lavo la ropa. In me lavo, I wash my body. I wash myself. ¿A quién lavo? A mí misma o a mí mismo. The verb is conjugated normally and we place the pronoun corresponding to the verb person in front of the verb. The verb lavar ends in ar and is a verb of the first conjugation. The first person singular is lavo and me is the reflexive pronoun for the first person singular. If the sentence is negative, we place first no, then me, and then lavo. Yo no me lavo. Here we have the complete conjugation of lavar. Lavo, lavas, lava, lavamos, laváis, lavan. If it is reflexive, me lavo, te lavas, se lava, nos lavamos, os laváis, se lavan. Many verbs that express actions related to personal care are reflexive in Spanish, such as ducharse, to shower, bañarse, to take a bath, peinarse, to comb, afeitarse, to shave, cepillarse, to brush. They are also reflexive in Spanish, levantarse, to get up, and relajarse, to relax. Some reflexive verbs are also irregular in the present tense because they have a vowel change in the stem. The conjugation of these verbs will be explained in the video dedicated to irregular verbs with vowel change. There are not many of them. For example, sentirse, to feel, sentarse, to sit, vestirse, to dress yourself, acostarse, to go to bed, to lay down, despertarse, to wake up. These verbs are irregular in the first three persons of the singular and in the third person plural. Here we have the verb vestirse as an example. Vestir ends in ir and has the typical ending for verbs in ir. O, es, e, imos, is, en. It also has a vowel irregularity in the root. It changes from e to i in some persons. Me visto, te vistes, se viste, nos vestimos, os vestís, se visten. In Spanish, many verbs that end in er and ir are irregular in the present tense. Acostarse is also reflexive. Acostarse ends in ar and has a vowel change in the stem. It changes from e to ue in the first three persons of the singular and in the third person plural. Many verbs for change of body position are reflexive. Levantarse, to get up, ponerse de pie, to stand, sentarse, to sit, acostarse, to lay down, inclinarse, to lean, arrodillarse, to kneel down. Here is a list of verbs that have pronoun in Spanish and their meaning in English. Verbs are in the infinitive with the pronoun se, but when conjugated, the pronoun and verb ending change according to the subject. Me ducho, te duchas, se ducha, nos duchamos, os ducháis, se duchan. As we said, many self-care verbs are reflexive. But we also use the pronoun se for actions that occur without will in an automatic way, such as preocuparse, to worry, olvidarse, to forget, caerse, to fall. There are many Spanish verbs that are pronominal. It is good to make a list of the most common ones and practice them. Here we have more. Comunicarse, quejarse, despedirse, concentrarse, divertirse, encontrarse con alguien, enfermarse, callarse, quedarse en casa. We also use se, the pronoun se, for reciprocal actions between two people, such as amarse, loving each other, saludarse, to greet each other, besarse, to kiss, quererse, caring for each other, etc. The pronoun se can have many meanings. We also use se to express impersonal actions such as se vende, se alquila, se habla español. Now let's practice a little and do some exercises together. Are these verbs used with or without the reflexive pronoun? María se lava el cabello. Because she washes her hair, it's se lava in Spanish. María lava los platos. She washes something. It is not reflexive. Yo me despierto temprano. Despertarse, to wake up, is reflexive in Spanish. Yo despierto a mi padre. If I wake up someone else, it's not reflexive. I wake my father. Nosotros nos acostamos tarde los fines de semana. Acostarse, to go to bed, is reflexive in Spanish. Lorena acuesta a los niños. If we put someone to bed, it is not reflexive. Tú te sientes bien. Sentirse, to feel, is reflexive. Mi madre siente que hace frío. My mother feels that it is cold. If we feel something, it is not reflexive. Ellos se bañan en la piscina. Bañarse is reflexive. Ellos bañan al perro. If you wash someone or something, it is not reflexive. Vosotros os levantáis pronto los domingos. Levantarse is reflexive. Vosotros is used only in Spain. In Latin America, we use ustedes. Ustedes se levantan temprano los domingos. Pedro levanta la cama para limpiar por debajo. Levantar algo. To lift something. Pedro lifts the bed to clean underneath. Los turistas se despiertan temprano. Despertarse, to wake up, is reflexive. Muy bien. I hope the difference between a reflexive verb and a common verb is clear. Now we continue with the exercises in the material of our distance learning course. If you are not yet a CELA student, we invite you to visit our website to learn more about our courses. Hasta pronto, nos vemos en una próxima videoclase.